Guys, moving on to the 2:30 time slate. And real quick before we get into this Georgia-Florida game, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like for us. It really helps out the channel a ton. We love making these videos. We make 6 or 7 a week, and hope you guys are enjoying them as we are. Now, like I said, Georgia-Florida, 2:30. Georgia's a 7.5 point favorite. And I think according to ESPN, they have an 80% chance to win the game over Florida. As we know, Florida is without head coach Billy Napier because he was fired 2 weeks ago. So it's going to be curious and interesting to see what we get from a Florida football team without Billy Napier as a head coach. These type of things could go either way. Either the team plays out of their mind or they just roll up and die. So Quinn, let us know which way you leaning here for this one.
Yeah, man, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party live and well, this time in November instead of October. That feels a little weird to me. Is it just me, or is this rivalry game's kind of just not being talked about all that much this year? I think
Yeah.
some of its thunder has kind of been stolen by Red River. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Red River coming in being an SEC game has kind of stole some of the neutral, because that was what Florida Georgia was. It was like the neutral site rivalry game of the SEC, and now
Fair
I
enough. I
got
didn't
that
think about that.
Red River. Like, I don't know, because I mean, like, the allure of the Egg Bowl, and like the Egg Bowl being a pissing contest between two schools in Mississippi that have nothing better to do than beat each other up, and the Iron Bowl being what it is, those will always be high up the list. But I don't, and part of this is Florida's been terrible, right? While Georgia's been one of the best teams in America. But I would love for this game to actually mean something again. Um,
Hmm.
but we're it's a one of two situation type game. Option one, Billy Napier's fired. It crushes these players at Florida, and they play with absolutely zero heart. And Kirby Smart comes out there with a sadistic smile on his face and absolutely does unspeakable things, the corpse of the Florida Gators, with a smile. And then goes back to Athens and wears his like alligator shoes for the next 3 weeks and brags about how he just doesn't lose games with the Florida Gators. Or two, Florida comes out, throws the kitchen sink at Georgia, takes a lead in the halftime. Gunnar Stockton's playing poorly against a strong Florida's defensive front. And then Georgia scraps and claws and fights and bites and rumbles around. And then you look up and there's 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and Georgia took a lead and they win the game. And then Kirby Smart puts on a sadistic smile and he goes back to Athens with his gator skin boots and talk about he doesn't lose to the Florida Gators. Those are your two options. Like, either Florida's going to make the game look like they can pull off the upset and they're going to lose, or they're going to get absolutely destroyed. That's the list. Georgia wins the game. I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, I just have zero faith that Florida beats Georgia in this game.
It is kind of worth noting that the spread's only 7.5, and I think that this this season in the SEC, you've seen a lot more of these than usual, where you have a team that is not so good against a top 5, top 10 team, where the spreads are closer than they used to be. And I think that's something that we need to look at as far as like in the off season. Why is that? Is it because of the NIL situation? And we'll get to all that in the off season and talk about that. So that'll be an interesting video. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. Um, Man, I think Florida is going to play inspired in this game because here's the thing. Billy Napier was a terrible play caller to me. He was the type of guy that he came in from a lower level school where he had to do a lot of the stuff. Offense, defense, special teams. Like, he was involved with a lot of the stuff. That's not how you coach an SEC team. You have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to rely on your assistant coaches. Otherwise, your performance is going to take a hit because you're spread too thin. And that happened with Billy Napier and his offensive play calling and abilities on that side of the ball, because I think Florida is a very talented offensive team. With Lagway, they have some very good receivers, and I like the running backs too. The only thing that held them back to me was the play calling. and that's something that is going to be different this week. So I think Florida is going to play a very good football game. I think they're going to come out inspired, ready, want to play spoiler as well, because keep in mind, this is still a rivalry game. This is not just a normal Florida team whose head coach just got fired playing, Alabama, right? Like just trying to play spoiler. No, like this is a rivalry game, and rivalry games are close traditionally. Both teams show up, hopefully, and try to show out. And that's what gets me excited about this game. I'll take Georgia to win, but give me Florida with the points. I think it's a 3-point win for Georgia in this one.
Just to play devil's advocate, just for the other side of this, because like I said, that is a very legitimate possibility. For the other possibility, which is that Georgia just steamrolls Florida in this game. It is pretty well documented that despite their issues, the players down there loved Billy Napier. So there is a chance I could see a world where they come out and play some very uninspired football after the result of their coach being fired. Just saying.
I think in the transfer portal era, you don't see that anymore, simply because, like, you want tape. Like, if you're a guy that hadn't played too much or hasn't been utilized too much, you want tape. So you're going to try your absolute best. But I see where you're coming from, because that is something that does happen as well. If a head coach is loved by the players, then, their performance will take a hit.